Hi, I'm Meshea.
Hi, I'm Peggy.
And we are Hitting the Road in Mississippi.
So, welcome back to our Hitting the Road in Mississippi. And I'm Peggy.
I'm Meshea, and the partner in crime.
The partner in crime. That's exactly right.
She's Miss Hit the Road.
And she's the partner in crime. But you get to learn a little bit more about Meshea tonight. And we have to start this off by saying she is a far better producer on all this than I am, and a far better introductory person, and she asks all the right questions. But that's why you need to know about Meshea, and I'm honored to have her in this with me in this project.
Thank you.
And we have a lot of the same interests, and particularly about the music. And I've known Meshea not too long, but we just have a lot of interests that are the same. So, and she loves Mississippi music as much as I do.
I do.
And she does, and she's a great storyteller person. She loves to hear people's stories, as we've said in past episodes. So, I am pleased to be introducing Meshea to you, and there are many things that I want her to tell you about, but firstly, she's a musician, which I said I'm not, and she's been doing videos for a long time in another part of her very personal business, and as I said, she loves to hear people's stories. So those are three things that I want her to touch on. But Meshea, please tell me and us about your music career and how you got started.
Well, when I was a little girl, Daddy heard me singing. He was shocked that I could sing. I don't know why. Everybody in our family, his family, sang, but he was surprised. And so I was raised to be a little country music singer. That's what I was raised to do. Very much like here in Mississippi, when you listen to the blues singers talk, every weekend started at Friday night, and it didn't stop until late Sunday. Our house was Grand Central Station for all the musicians in the area.
Sometimes you miss school on Monday.
I missed school on Mondays, and they knew why I wasn't there. They knew it was because I played music all weekend, and it was an excused absence. I mean, I was a straight A student, and I played music, and they knew it, and so nothing was ever said about it. That's what I did. So when I was 14, I was in Nashville making records. I didn't go ahead and pursue it. It's something I chose not to do for personal reasons. There were just things about being in the industry as a very young person that just didn't fit with my family life and the way my life was. And so I didn't go ahead and pursue it. But I went on, my husband and I at the time, we had a band. I played music for years. I went on to sing gospel music. I ended up singing with Trinity Broadcast Network Choir, live and worldwide, 2 nights a week for a time period. Continued to sing, and now I write. I think in a period of a little over a year, I wrote 35 songs. So I'm a prolific writer. I enjoy writing. So I still dabble in it. I still keep the guitar out and I play keyboard and I play mandolin. It was the reason I play mandolin is Daddy always had a little pickup truck, and he would want to sing going down the road. So you can hold the guitar, but you can hold a mandolin. So that's what my life was.
No.
Yes.
Who taught you how to play mandolin?
Well, everybody I was around played everything. I played a little dobro, played a little banjo. I played a little everything because they all played those things. One of the people that I learned so much from and sang with, he was a mandolin player. So that's my background in music. Is I didn't continue pursuing it, but I was 14 years old and making records in Nashville. So
in essence, you were hitting the road in Kentucky.
Illinois. I was born in Illinois, but I did hit the road in Kentucky because the ex-husband and I, we were in Kentucky. That's where the band, and actually still as a teenager, I was playing with his band because we were engaged as I was a teenager. Band was in Kentucky, so I played a lot in Kentucky. So I was hitting the road in Kentucky, and then of course Trinity Broadcast Network, that's in Tennessee. So yeah, that whole area is where I played music at.
I want you to explain to us, firstly, why you came to Mississippi, but what it is that makes you interested in hitting the road in Mississippi and not hitting the road to leave Mississippi.
I stayed in Kentucky most of my life. It's where my boys were raised,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in Kentucky most of my life. Although I was a long-term care consultant and I traveled a lot. My husband's job came to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I chose that. He had 5 places he could go that the company offered him, and I said, I'll only go to Vicksburg. I'd never been to Vicksburg before, but when I looked at where the offers were, because I'm a history person.
Oh, yeah,
And,
right.
yeah, I'm a history person, and I looked at the names, and he's like, I need you to go online and look at these cities and tell me which one you'll go to. I said, no, I'll go to Vicksburg. And so, and he's like, no, seriously. I said, oh, I'm serious. I'll go to Vicksburg. And so that's what we did. We came to Mississippi, and my realtor, who's a friend, she's like, you weren't in my car 3 minutes, and you said you were home.
Wow.
That marriage has since ended. He's in a whole other state on the whole other side of the country. Did go briefly and help him get everything settled there, but no, I came back to Mississippi. I have no intention of leaving. Mississippi is very much like where I grew up. I grew up on the Ohio. Mississippi's, of course, got the Mississippi River. You know, both large rivers. We're both very historic based. A lot of history. A lot of poorer areas, a lot of rural areas, a lot of similarities there. A lot more have-nots than haves in historically, and that still greatly affects where I grew up. So there's so many similarities. When you look around, the trees, everything, and it looks very much the same. Rolling hills, all of that kind of stuff. At least the part that I'm in here, but it's much warmer here, and I like the climate better. and there is a wider range of music here. I laughed earlier and I made the comment in one of the other episodes about country blues.
Right.
Because up home, we don't differentiate blues out the way it's done here. Jimmy Rogers is blues up home. Down here, someone will say that's blues, and I'm like, well, Daddy sang that all the time. I played that all the time, you know. But then I'll be in another part of the state or another blues musician, and they'll look at me and say, that's not blues. And I'm like, but the other blues musician said it was. So I stay so confused about what's blues and what's not, because another one will tell me, no, that's country. That's why I've been reading and studying about it and trying to figure it out, because different people call different things blues. But yeah, up home growing up playing, we didn't see it so differently. I'll run into blues musicians who will tell me, we want to write with you because there's more money in selling country songs.
That's what they think.
Yeah, but and then I'll say, well, you know, we could play some together, and they're like, oh no, I can't play country music. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't play country music? It's like the same 4 chords you're playing now, you know, it's no different, you know, and certainly the musics are not relegated to those 4 chords, but a lot of it is basic and like that. And then I had somebody that's very big in the blues world that said, do you know what 135 means? I go, yeah, I know what that means. And so it's like, they confuse me with how some of them think it's so different and others don't. And so I just get really confused about it. But I love Mississippi because the music to me is not that different, yet it is different. And I want to understand it better. But the history is here that I have up home, but it's warmer here. I just feel like I'm more at home here than I feel like I am where I was born and raised. It's just like I was born and raised there, but what I'm supposed to do is here. It's like the stories that need to be told from here are the stories I'm meant to tell. All of that confusion about the music is a part of that.
It's a part of the story, is it not?
It's a part of the story.
Yeah.
You know?
So how did you, I know you said that you heard songs that y'all used to play that for you were blues. So once you came to Mississippi, who got you stuck on the blues?
Okay, so, well, I did healthcare blogging and vlogging up home. I did it all with volunteers. I had a huge volunteer following. I had a huge Facebook group. When I got to Mississippi, nobody was interested in helping with that at all. So I started a history blog, guides for the park, the battlefield, there in Vicksburg. I found somebody there that was willing to help, and so I helped him actually self-publish some books and stuff, and I became involved in the history as industry in Vicksburg, and really enjoyed that, and started doing promotion of Vicksburg heavily. And I ended up getting involved with blues promotion, but I didn't know I was involved in blues promotion because I hadn't met any of the artists, but I was still helping promote what was going on in Vicksburg, and a lot of it was blues promotion. So finally it's like, well, you need to go hear some of the music since you're helping so much. And so I was told to go hear Mr. Sip. Well, that made sense. Mr. Mississippi must be Mr. Blues. So I went, not at all what I expected. So here comes this man carrying his guitar. He's carrying his guitar around, walks right up to where I'm at. If what he was playing was blues, I was hooked. I mean, his stage presence, his performance, getting off the stage, coming around, let me see you drive, and, I mean, that's what he was doing when he said, So I literally had said something to a girl that was in front of him right in the middle of all that, and he stopped and laughed and like high-fived me in the middle of what he was doing, and then kept right on going. And so I was hooked.
You were hooked.
I was hooked. I'm like, this is so much fun. And I knew there was a story there. I knew, there was like that person. There's something there, and if this is blues, then, because I didn't see anything blue about it, So, and then we went back, I guess, the next week, and it was Eddie Cotton Jr. That was entirely different. I mean, he just kept saying from the stage, so blues lovers, and then there's Carlos,
right, there's Carlos.
And then there's Carlos, and I'm like, what is the story with this, And he's great. I love Carlos. I can't imagine Eddie without Carlos.
For those people that don't know, what does Carlos do?
He keeps the crowd revved up.
Yeah.
He sings a little background,
Yeah.
but mostly he claps and snaps, and he plays a little harmonica.
Right.
But he mostly just keeps the crowd involved.
Exactly, keeps the crowd involved.
Yeah. As one other blues artist I know says, everybody needs a Carlos. I'd give anything to have a Carlos. And then the more and more of the artists I ran into, it was all different. Then I heard Jarikas.
Right.
Because I hadn't met you yet, but I heard Jarikas, and I'm like, that's blues?
Exactly.
I'm like, because that was a whole different experience.
A whole different experience.
And so then I was really confused about what it was, but I knew I loved it. And so then I was hooked on the music, and then I understood, and then I really got into promoting. And Fred T. So then I started promoting them all online. I had a huge chronic pain following. So I was always trying to keep them interested in things about living. That's what I promoted. And so I was always covering other people's stories, trying to show them motivation, inspiration. Adrena did her story for me. We did a 4-part story on her, Big Girl Way. Talked about our body perception and things that people had said to her, and how she was working with that type of stuff. And so I was, I had other artists that I had lined up to talk to, and so I was covering the artists and talking to them and sharing their stories with my chronic pain people. So I was intertwining, so I was still talking to my chronic pain group of people, but I was promoting the history as industry, I was promoting the blues people, and just really melding the two together, and the storytelling, the stories, because I felt like, I really feel everybody has a story, and I feel that the inspiration from these blues people, because when I met Adrena, her stuff, I saw her perform, and my sister, I'm sending my sister a video of her, and she's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm listening to blues. She goes, oh no, you're not, that's not blues. I said, yes it is. So her story was just amazing. So I started understanding that these stories were being helpful to my chronic pain people. They became Mr. Sip followers. They would like vote for his stuff, and because there's always things you can vote for the artist. They followed him and voted in his stuff. So I married the two worlds together and did Every Life is a Story events on some of them. And now I'm not doing the chronic pain stuff. For a while I did meditation and energy medicine for pain, and I've been doing that for a couple years. I've stepped out of that too, and just want to do the stories now. But I don't want to step away from the music and the history, and that's what Mississippi has. And so met you, and you want to do this, and so here I am. But yeah, that's how I got into the blues. That's how I've just stayed hooked into it, is the stories. I met the people, I love their stories. I love sitting and talking with Eddie. Carlos, I've sat and talked with Carlos one night at Blue Monday. I sat talking to Carlos. We had the best time talking. So there's so many stories out there to tell.
So many stories.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know.
And so now you can see why she's the perfect partner for me. And it's so interesting to me that our histories reflect time in medical offices, medical services, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then the love of listening to people's stories and the love of the music and what kind of captured her as the blues captured me. It captured her just by going, which I think is real important, by going and listening to a particular artist and meeting that artist. And I think that's so important, and that will really foster an appreciation of the music and the genre if you get to meet some of the people that make the music.
Yes.
And so that's what we want to do in this series, is help you get to meet some of these people. But Meshea, in my eyes, is still an artist, and our Blues Society does Blue Monday at Hal and Mal's on Monday nights, and we have a sign-up sheet. And we have gotten Meshea, sometimes have dragged her up to the list to sign up, but we've gotten her to perform, and she's been real brave to perform with the band, who never knows what anybody's going to come up and sing. And so we're trying to prepare them a little more for some of her song selections, which might be more country than what they've played, but it seems to be working.
It is working. Dennis loves Help Me Make It Through the Night, so that goes over well. Whenever I'm going to my car, of course, somebody always walks me to my car. Blue Monday, folks, there's gentlemen there. It's a South, folks. I love the South. I'll walk out, and Dennis is he jumps into song, he just bursts into song and starts singing Help Me Make It Through the Night. So he loves that. As a matter of fact, the guitar player requested that I do Help Me Make It Through the Night. But I do a little Chubby Checker, and I was going to do Jimmy Rogers one night even. So and I'm working on some blues stuff. I've done Fats Domino for years. Ain't That a Shame? I've done that song for years. So I'm working on some. I don't ever want to come across as a pretender.
Right.
I would rather do what I do.
What you do.
And be authentic to that.
Exactly. Your authentic self songs.
Right.
Exactly.
Then to try to come and sing Dorothy Moore.
Hey, Missy Blue.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Right. No. I don't want to do that. So I would rather go up and be me. And a lot of people sing stuff that's not necessarily strict blues. And so
right.
Yeah, so I would rather go up and do something that's not too far off, and but it be authentic to me. And so the guys are great. I've texted them song names, and Tony, the piano player, I know him, and when Ben's playing the bass, I know Ben, and of course Rick can drum anything, and Maya, when she's there, she's like, if you're singing, I'm drumming. And so and the guitar players are amazing. Usually sing when there's not a lot of people. I don't sing and not because if there's a lot of artists there to perform, I'm not there to perform. I'm there to enjoy, and also now I'm doing interviews with people who are there for the first time. And so but when there's not a lot of performers there, I don't mind getting up and helping, for the cause and performing, and we have a good time. And JT sits at the bar and he cheers me on, and so that helps. And
that's right.
And I appreciate that. But I don't have any regrets about. I don't have any illusions about being 57 and trying to go back and capture what I left at 15.
I was just going to ask you that. I mean, besides the fact that we get you up there to sing, as far as what your aspirations are for continuing your music career, or...
I left all of that at 15, and I do still sing, I do still play, but I do have other issues that keep me from doing it consistently. I just don't see trying to go back and recreate something. I left it all for a reason. My life has taken the turns it has for a reason, and I love all of this. And I love supporting the artist. I love telling their stories and making sure that their stuff gets out there. So I do love writing with people. I won't turn down getting up and singing when I feel like it's appropriate and when I'm up to doing it. If I'm not up to doing it, I'm not going to put that on you all either,
Right.
you know. But no, I don't. I'm not one of those that wants to go back and recapture something that I don't have that. I don't have that pain to try to heal. That's I'm good with it all, and so I would rather do this. And but I do enjoy the singing, and I do appreciate that they asked me to get up, and I do appreciate the applause. And yes, JT, keep screaming for me. I appreciate it. Yes, I do appreciate it.
And we need a little bit of country kind of sounds up in there.
Hey, listen, if Miss Misty Blue herself can record country and it's okay,
Thank you.
if she can do it,
Thank you.
that's when I decided for sure that it was okay to get up and sing what's authentic to me. Is
Exactly.
when she and I had the conversation, and she's like, well, that shouldn't keep you from singing. You know how many country songs I've recorded?
Exactly.
And then we start talking.
Did she tell you how many?
Well, she didn't have a number, but she starts listing them. And I'm like, I do that song. I do that song. And she goes, well, there you go. And she started, and I go, well, I do that song, and I do that song. And then before you know it, she's like, oh, sing me that one. You know, and so if Miss Misty Blue does that many songs that I do, I can sing them there. It's no problem.
Exactly can.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, yay. Well, now you can see why she's my perfect partner in crime. To make this experiment, this project go. And I'm so excited to have her and her energy and to be my partner and to keep me straight on questions and production and the videoing and stuff. She's just, she's a blessing in this project. So look for us. More to come. We will have videos. Actually, she's the first musician. She's the first musician.
I am the first musician. There you go. And I live in Mississippi. Been here for 9 years now, so I'm a transplant.
There you go.
There you go.
So we will have more to come after this. So thank you for being a part of this with us. And we hope to have you back on our upcoming episodes as we
are hitting the road in Mississippi. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining us. And you can reach out to us at this email address, htrprb@gmail.com. We'd love to hear any ideas you might have about what we're doing or any suggestions about where we might go or someone we might interview.
As we are hitting the road in Mississippi.